Hi everyone, welcome to Tony Fox Tarot. Thanks for joining me today and great to have you with me. So today we're looking at a no contact situation. And is this person going to reach out? Will they call you? Will they text you? Will you bump into them in the street? What's going to happen in terms of the future outcome between the both of you? And how do they think and feel about you? What's going on in their circumstances? And equally, how do you think and feel about them? Before we get started, if you would like to get down below and hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon while you're there. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Like and share this video where you can. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Now, we've got 4 different cards before you on the screen, and the idea is to choose a card that resonates with you really strongly. Once you've made that choice, that will be your reading. It's perfectly fine to choose more than one card if it comes through really strongly for you. And just remember, this is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave behind anything that doesn't. We've got card 1, card 2, card 3, and card 4. So taking a moment just to pause and connect with the cards. Listening to your intuition, your inner voice, the energy of the cards. Which of these strikes you the most clearly? Is it card 1, card 2, card 3, or card 4? Now, down below, there are 4 different timestamps representing each of these different cards. If you'd like to go to the card that you chose, I'll be with you in a moment. Welcome to card number 1. This is your reading and we're looking at a no contact situation. So are they going to reach out? And we're looking at the cards we've got on the table already here. And I get a sense that this other person, very strong energy coming through. The Chariot, Strength, the Emperor, very confident person. Very, very masculinity, very strong person. I get a very physically fit person. Over here to the Chariot and the Six of Wands, I feel that this is a person who is very focused on their work. They're very driven, in as much as if they know what they want, they certainly go for it. And I get this confidence that comes through in a way where they kind of know who they are on a very egotistical level. I get a bit of swagger in their step. I think they like to look good and they like other people to think that they look good. Makes them feel good about themselves. There is definitely a work focus there. I feel that this person's been very, very driven with their work to get successful outcomes. And in terms of you, I feel they've been giving you lots of really positive signs that have all been heading in the very right direction. I think that they talked very positively about where things are going between the both of you. And I get a sense that there's lots of discussions that have been happening in the past as to where things are going. Maybe about moving in together, about the pathway of this particular connection in terms of developing into more of a devoted relationship and its future as far as what the both of you want to achieve together as a couple. And I feel that you've both been very much on the same page. And so they've given you quite a lot to work with. I feel that you've been introduced to people. I get a sense that friends and family, this is somebody who has wanted to show you off in a way. I think they want people to know you. They want people to know that this is the direction that things have been going. And I really do feel that this is somebody who has definitely been on board with you. And if I come down here to the Lovers and the Ace of Chalices, I kind of feel like this is a start point for you, reflecting on where you've been at. I feel a definite loving connection here. I feel that the two of you have really come together very closely. I feel that you feel very strongly about this person. Ace of Chalices indicates children. The idea of having a child, getting pregnant, coupled with the Lovers, is a very strong connection between the two of you. I feel like you've possibly wanted to have kids with this person. And if it's not kids, it's definitely about starting a life with them. I mean, the Ace of Chalices is about starting a life with somebody on an emotional level. It gives you a lot of fulfillment and satisfaction, and it's a very spiritual card as well. I kind of feel that for you, it's been quite a deep connection with this person. You felt that this is somebody you want to share a lot with. I get a lot of giving from you as a person. Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Chalices. I get giving. I think you tend to be very free with the way you share things in your life, and that's on different levels. So I think you are very kind-hearted. You would give people what it is that they need so that they can feel both secure within themselves at an emotional level, but also if they needed anything, you'd be there for them to support them in a way that was also very practical. But I think you've been very upfront with this person in a way where you've really laid it on the table and said, look, this is what I want as far as the relationship is concerned. And for some of you, that may mean about the idea of having a child as well. And so I think you've been very honest with them as far as what you've wanted to achieve as a couple and also what you want to achieve for yourself in the future with this person. Coming up here to the Strength and Eight of Swords, get a sense that this person has pulled back. They've cut off. I feel like all of a sudden it's like they just can't see the wood for the trees. They don't know where this is going. There's a lot of strong feeling that has actually come up within this person. Very passionate, very sensitive, and very overwhelming feelings. They haven't dealt with it at all. I get a sense that this person can be quite a controlling person. I think that they like to be a dominant energy. They like to be the one that makes the plans, pushes things in a direction that actually gives them a sense of accomplishment and reward through, I guess, being able to figure out how things are supposed to work. It's a little bit egotistical and at the same time, maybe a bit dominant, but I think they mean well. I think that I get that they are a little bit wooden at times with their feelings, though. I don't feel that they're comfortable with the idea of love and experiencing it in a way where they can't navigate it. This is somebody who wants to be able to control things, and feelings can overwhelm you. And Strength is definitely a card of enormous passion, enormous feeling. It's a creative surge that comes up, and if you don't know how to control that, it can really overwhelm you. And it's coupled with the Eight of Swords, which is a card of control, self-control to some degree, but it's also a feeling that maybe others are controlling you, that maybe you're being manipulated. My feeling is that this person's kind of, stepped into, like a new phase of the connection with you where they really feel quite paranoid about where things are going, that they're out of control. And I think it also haunts, there's some past feelings, there's some past experiences that haunt them in a way where it goes back to their childhood, perhaps, maybe to their parents. And it's about being vulnerable. It's about letting go and connecting at a level where you can let people in. For me, I kind of feel that this person feels that perhaps they've come to a point where if they start to really open up about how it is they really feel, that they will become potentially a target, by manipulative sort of, I guess, sources that could begin to try and, and so this whole thing about domination comes back up for me again. The reason perhaps why they are quite controlling, very dominant, very strong, and perhaps a little bit egotistical at times, because that actually steps back over that mark and takes back ground in a way where they don't have to feel that. So there's quite a lot going on there, and it stems right back to the past. They also don't like to fail. And I feel that perhaps they're a little bit lost as to where this is all going now, because they've entered into a new phase where the idea maybe of having kids and actually going in at a much deeper emotional level, that they've begun to feel this experience in a way where it's like, oh God, I don't, like I'm okay with showing my partner off. I'm okay with pushing this in a successful direction. I'm okay with steering us together as a couple to achieve certain results. But when it comes to feelings and the potential of where that can go at a much deeper level beyond the superficial, oh God, I come really out of my depth. So I kind of feel that at the moment down here to the Hangman and the Ace of Pentacles, I think for you, I feel like you're feeling like you've done something wrong. Yeah. You're feeling like it's all your fault in some ways. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what you need to do to give to this situation. Because you do, this is what you do. You actually do give to people very freely. But again, you're thinking, do I need to do something more practical that actually gives them some support to feel more grounded about, where this can go, so it can, so that it can begin. We can enter into a new beginning. The Ace of Pentacles are all about new beginnings, but the Hangman is also a card of sacrifice. So it's this thing about what do I need to give to get this back on track and to get a solid new beginning. And so I think you're trying to figure it all out on that level, and you're really battling with perspective. The Hangman is about perspective. It's about looking inwards, understanding what the sacrifices are that you need to make. But you can also see here with the crowd looking on, that sense of people looking at you, pointing at you like it's your fault. And maybe that's just you being a little bit paranoid, and maybe there's something that you feel that you need to do to make this right, to put it right, that somehow it's all your fault. So there's quite a lot going on here for me. I think you're very different people for very different reasons. You're a very sensitive, very creative person. There's a lot of creative energy within you. So certainly creativity, I feel around the idea of maybe pregnancy or having kids, creating a new life in a way that gives you fulfillment, new beginnings that are also sort of very much anchored in security and like a solid foundation of having support at a very practical level to kind of maybe move in together. But this other person, much more wooden in their focus. It doesn't mean that they aren't on board at a deeper level. It's just that they're really confronted with how they really feel. It's overwhelmed them. Are they going to reach out? Yes, they are going to reach out. Come over here to the Emperor and the Chalices, the Six of Chalices. I think it's going to take a little bit of time. I don't feel like this is going to be quick. Yeah. Couple of months for me. I kind of feel like there's a few months here. I kind of feel like you need to be patient with this person. What comes through really strongly here is I think they'll be slow to come around, but what they're going to realize is they really want to be a parent. The Emperor is the father card in tarot, so like a very paternal energy, and the Six of Chalices is all about children. And in this particular case, it's also about the inherent idea of children. So extended family into your grandparents, your mother and father, their mother and father, being a father or being a parent, a masculine energy is what I'm picking up here. So I kind of feel that they're going to have a lot of difficulty dealing with the reality of what it means to be with you. It's they're forced into this sort of facing what's going on within themselves, knowing that they can't just kind of keep up a facade that kind of woodenly, that gets an outcome. They really have to get on board with their deeper feelings and what it means to have a life with you. And I feel that they will come to terms with that. It's going to be difficult. I feel that they'll come back to you with a romantic gesture. They'll actually make a show of romance. Like maybe give you flowers or ask you out to dinner, and I kind of feel like they're going to try and woo you in a very kind of traditional way. They really want to have kids and they really want to be with you. I think they're going to start to face how they really feel about you. Coming down here to the Empress and the Wands, the Three of Wands, I think that you two will move in together. I get a sense of that, for me, there's a sort of very productive outcome. The Empress is also about children. So this parent energy comes back in, the maternal energy, the feminine, which is what I pick up here on the bottom row. This idea of moving forward, things opening up, moving in together, and the idea of taking the next steps to have a child. So I kind of feel that there's nothing really you need to do here. I feel that you are really on board and that you want to be with this person. I think that you need to stay true to yourself about what it is that you really want. This person needs to face some facts about where they're at and how they really feel. And I don't feel that you need to give to that in a way that actually makes it right. This is their journey. They need to figure out how they really feel about you and what it is they really want. But they will reach out. Hope this reading has made some sense. And if it has, please feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can, and hit subscribe. Tap on the bell icon, that'll give you notifications for future readings that I post. And if you are interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. Plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Take care and thank you. Hi everyone, welcome to card 2. This is your reading and we're looking at a no contact situation today. So let's jump in and have a look and see what's going on. And I feel that, looking more to the past over here to the Sun and the Three of Pentacles, that this has been a really solid kind of period of time. I feel like there's been like a number of months. It could even be going into years here. I feel there's a very established foundation with this other person, and it's been a very positive period where things have really built. With continuity, I get security coming through. Maybe you've been both saving together, looking to buy a house, maybe, or putting money in the bank. The Three of Pentacles is all about foundations and security and building towards outcomes that give you manifest results. And the Sun is a very positive, uplifting card. I feel like this has been a very happy time with this person. Perhaps you've also been looking at a future with children. The Sun is reflective of children, looking to set things up securely so that you can have a future where there are children on the scene. But there's definitely a focus here of wanting to invest in the relationship in a way where it has a future. And, that there is a strong foundation beneath the both of you that points to a period of time where each of you has very positively focused and worked towards, like a solid foundation, and if I come down here to Temperance and the King of Cups, your feelings for this person are very evolved. They're very mature feelings. I feel that for most of you, this would be love. There's a very deep sort of emotional and spiritual connection here for you in a way where I don't know that you've actually told the other person exactly how it is that you feel. Not that you've been dishonest. Maybe you're just not comfortable to express fully how does you really feel. Maybe that's something that's actually a bit deep and personal for you. But I think you've also given a heck of a lot to this person. You've been there for them in a way that has helped them to get back up on their feet. So prior to meeting them, I kind of feel maybe things weren't so secure for this person. Your influence has helped them to become secure. You've offered a lot of healing, a lot of balance to their life. And you are like that by nature. You are sensitive to other people's needs in a way where you're very compassionate, very giving, very loving, but also very healing. I'd be surprised for a lot of you if you weren't working in some sort of health-related area. And if you don't, you definitely have it within yourself to touch people in a way where you're just very honest and present and loving and caring and honest. I think I already said that, but it comes through very strongly for me. But you've pulled the plug. You've coming over here to Death and the and the Seven of Cups. You've pulled the plug on this relationship. You've stopped it from moving forwards, and everything in your world has turned upside down. You're swimming in emotion. You can't figure out which way is up. You don't know how it is that you've come to this particular point. Nothing makes sense. Day to day, it's difficult to navigate how does it you really feel or what does it you really think based on what it is that's happened. This has been a really confronting experience for you. I think it's really struck very deeply inside you in a way that it has challenged you about how to move forward. And, so I want to know why that is. And if I come up here to the Devil and the Three of Cups, I can see why that is, because this person has come off the rails. They've been acting out in a way that's been very dishonest. They have been, for me, I feel like they've been out partying. They've been out burning the candle at both ends, socializing with people in a way. Maybe addiction's coming up here for some of you, or some sort of alcoholism or drugs. I feel like they're going out. They're not present in the relationship. The focus has gone from looking within the relationship and the future of the relationship to looking outside for something else that they don't have. They become really superficial. I'm saying become, a part of this is who they've always been. So they're acting out superficially, looking for material gain, looking for fun in a way that actually strokes their ego and makes them feel good. Drugs and sex and rock and roll. That's kind of what I'm getting here. Acting out irresponsibly, partying, having good times. The behavioral change is really strong, but the dishonesty is as well. I think for me, what strikes really clearly here is just sort of like they're showing a disregard of everything that they had built with you up until this particular point. This person has some deep-seated issues in terms of trust, okay? And the way that they deal with that is to go out and have a good time and to be the center of attention with other people. It makes them feel better about themselves. It gets their mind off of what is really going on at a deep core level. Addiction is a part of the picture here for me. I think they want to understand what it is that's going on at a deep level, but this narcissistic tendency takes over and it becomes all consuming, right? And all of a sudden they completely lost their bearings. And everything that they built with you has almost been dismissed in a way where they show no regard to the hard work that you both put on, but most importantly about how it is that you feel about them or how it is that they feel about you. Now, if I come over here to Judgment and the Four of Cups, I feel that this person's going to get to a point where they really have to look at what's going on. Judgment is a card that weighs up the big questions in life. It's really the life-changing moment where you have the reality check in order to move forward. But it's coupled with the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups, it's quite sort of resentful and it's disgruntled in a way where it keeps things superficial. It doesn't want to go deep. It doesn't want to have to look at itself. It's like, I'm going to kind of push all of that away because I'm just not really willing to go into myself and look deeply. Yeah. So I understand that this is a big deal, but at the same time, I don't want to have to deal with that. I feel that they will reach out to you, and they will make contact, but they won't want to look at what it is that's going on. And coming down here to the Tower and the Nine of Pentacles, for you, I think that's going to be just like unworkable. The Tower is a situation where the foundation has become completely eroded, which is a stark contrast to the Three of Pentacles where it all began, which is a solid and secure foundation. So for you, it's like, yes, I've invested into this relationship. And you can see that here with the Nine of Pentacles. Yes, I've put a lot into this relationship. Yes, I can see the potential and where this can go. But this is an unworkable situation for me. In a way where I feel that I will actually just lose too much if I give it any more time. And you've already made your mind up on that level. I think you've actually had the reality check for yourself. I'm going to say one thing here. Yes, I see how you really feel about this person, and there's a lot of love there. But I also feel that you've jumped in at the deep end with them in a way where you've also healed them. There is purpose in this particular connection. There is a spiritual link, and it is deep and it is meaningful. And I feel that you have done something here that has been purposeful. Yeah, it's been heartfelt. It's been spiritual. But at the same time, this person is not at a point in their life where they can reflect back at the same level as you. I feel that either way, you will not move forward in this particular connection. And even though this person will reach out, they're not going to tell you anything it is that will actually take it any deeper or give it the opportunity to resolve. Anyway, look, I hope this reading has made some sense to you. And if it has, please feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Anyway, thanks very much and take care. Bye. Hi everyone, welcome to card 3. This is your reading and this is a no contact situation, and we're looking to see if they're going to reach out and ready to rock and roll with this one. Down here to Death and the Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles. I feel this is where I want to start. I feel this is starting with you, and this is more when you met this person. Excuse me. I think when you met them, you actually were coming to terms with something. I think you were consolidating your position in a way where you were very self-focused. Maybe you weren't even ready to meet anybody. I kind of feel that you had other things on your mind. I definitely get a sense of loss here. I'm wondering whether this is loss in terms of grief, the grief of losing somebody who was very close to you. And if it's not that, it could be the ending of a relationship, a previous relationship. I felt that this happened at a time that was very difficult for you in your life. A lot of dust was kicked up in the air. I kind of feel like it was a very contemplative time where there was time out and really just kind of coming to terms with what your position was. You know, Death is a very transitionary card. Lots of dust gets kicked up in the air with that card. And the Four of Pentacles is a definite kind of, you know, consolidation energy. You know, you're really drawing things back into singular focus, you know, and often that's really about reflecting on yourself and what it is that you need in order to get on your feet and do what you need to do to establish your position in your world. But if I come up here to the Lovers and the Knave of Pentacles, I feel that this has been a very young, youthful energy that's come through. This person has kind of been like a shining light in some ways at a time where possibly you were very, very receptive to that light. I get a real boyish charm. I'm not saying that this has to be a boy or a girl, but that's the energy. It's a boyish charm. I kind of feel that this is a very positive, kind of naive, but at the same time uplifting energy that shows, you know, just a different way, you know, that sort of like pulls you out of your shell. It pulls you out of this consolidated, self-focused period and offers you something very different to look at, something very different to work at. And there's a definite attractive energy there. You know, the Lovers indicates, you know, like an intimate and sensitive, emotional connection, very, very, very sexual, obviously, but also, you know, the Knave of Pentacles is very bright in that it looks at the facts and figures and offers a way of working things that can move you forwards and help you to take practical steps that lead you into new opportunities. And I kind of feel that this person has been very clear about you. They've really liked you. I think in some ways romanced you in a very kind of charming way, and they've captured your attention, brought you out of your shell, helped you to move through a very difficult time in your life, and presented an offer, really. It's like, hey, let's kind of move forward together. I really like you. I really want to be with you. This could work. You know, and kind of outlining that in a way where it gives you practical steps to kind of figure out, you know, how to kind of make that happen. So it's not hard work. It's almost like they're making it really easy for you to be with them. And I feel the two of you have formed a really strong first steps kind of bond, really. And I come over here to the Hierophant and the Eight of Cups. And I feel that this person, you know, I think that they become really emotionally involved in you in a way that they hadn't anticipated. And the Eight of Chalices really, you know, shows that evolution of feeling in a way where there's a lot involved between the both of you. You know, fireworks have gone off. It has actually been a very rewarding period of time, and at the same time, I think that it's also confronted them, because it's like, oh my God, I don't think I really anticipated that this was going to develop into something that actually was so deep. And it's created a lot of uncertainty within them. It's like, where am I going with this? What am I doing for the future? Is this what I really want? Is this not what I really want? Do I know what I really want? Everything becomes kind of vague, to be honest with you, in a way that just is, it's almost like they've gone from giving you clarity and showing you how it can work and initiating first steps into the complete opposite. It's like, oh geez, I don't know what I want. I don't know how this is supposed to work. And I need time out on my own. You know, the Eight of Chalices is about having time out on your own. It's about moving away from a situation in order to figure out who you are. It's really very much a self journey. And I think that they've been very confronted by the bond that they formed with you in a way that's kind of been very catalytic. It's caused them to go much deeper within themselves. It's made them think deeply about what they want for the future and whether they want to have this relationship in all seriousness. And, you know, they need to get away in order to clarify this, you know, through a process of realization. Yeah, they've been taken by surprise. You know, much more than they had anticipated. Because I think at heart, this is actually a very practical person, quite a naive person. I think they're very studious, very focused. They're very good with facts and figures. They're quite rational in some ways, and they're very charming. But you know, the depth of emotional maturity there, I think, is missing for me. And I think this is where they're at. It's like they've had to grow up. You know, they're having to grow up. That's what they're doing. They've moved on, or they've moved away, or they've taken time out in order to kind of really figure out where they're at on that level, and you know, do they have the capacity to have a fully fledged loving relationship? I think this hasn't been easy for you. You know, I get that you've been waiting. I feel like waiting has been your game. A lot of hope. You know, there's this hope that they will come back. There's hope that they'll reach out to you. I think you've had a lot of time to balance up the circumstances, the experience that you've had with this person in a way where I think you've come to a place of forgiveness. You know, I don't get a person who holds any resentment as to what this person's gone through. I think that you've been very philosophical and tried to keep a very open mind. I think you also do realize that you weren't in the best place when you met this person. And that things have just kind of organically rolled in a way where this is just where you are and that you have to accept it. But also, I think it's the realization that you want more with them, that you want a future with them. And I get an emptiness. Like, I feel like you're yearning for them, and I feel that there's a real sort of lonely or empty. If it's not lonely, it's an emptiness. It's like I want them back. And I want a future with them. I want to explore more of what it is that we've actually had to experience with. You've got a lot in common. I think you're actually very similar people in some ways. Fundamentally, I think you're actually both very practical and I think very clear in your abilities to be able to map things. I think you can both navigate, you know, a lot of what's going on in a relationship in a way where you can take practical steps to. Not fall into the pit. You know, I think you're both forward thinking is what I'm saying. I wonder whether children was also an idea here for yourself, about the idea of maybe wanting to have kids for the future, maybe not for all of you. Are they going to reach out? The answer is yes. Strengthen the Seven of Swords. I feel that this person's feelings are going to really rise up in a way where they become very clear that they feel very passionately about you. And that they've left, and they realise that they've left something really important behind, and that they want to come back to that. But it's also made them feel that they need to return to you in a way where they have to avoid the issues that caused them to leave. I don't know that they're going to want to talk about it. I think initially I feel like they're going to want to dodge the bullet. They're not going to want to get to the heart of matters as to figure out. Or to share their process. I feel that they've still got stuff to figure out. I think they'll want to come back to you. They'll reach out to you, but they won't want to talk about what it is that happened, why it is that they left, what caused that. And if I come down here to the Star and the Six of Swords, I feel that for you, I feel that a big part of what you're going to want to do is to get things back on track. So I feel things will get back on track, that you'll refocus towards the aims, objectives that you had kind of have been contemplating up until this particular point. But at the same time, my sense was that perhaps this needed some counseling, you know, that the both of you needed to be on the same page to get to the next step or the next stage in terms of where this potentially could go. And a part of what that meant is that you both need a joint reflective process so that you could identify what the issues were, you know, getting into clearer water so that you could reflect on things in a way that gave you, I guess, you know, like a resolution as to what it is that had happened. Because I feel that this person is going to need that. I feel like they're going to need to take more time. They're going to want to come back to you, but they're not going to jump straight into the answers or even the questions as to what it is that's happened. And I feel that you are a person who actually is much more clear in their process at this point in time, and can offer them, you know, I guess, you know, like a joint way of looking at things that can help them to gain that clarity, and that will help to put you both on the same track in order to get to the next level. So yes, they're going to reach out, but there is a process here. Look, I hope that has made some sense to you. And if it has, please feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you are interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thank you and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card 4. This is your reading and we're looking at a no contact situation. So are they going to reach out? And here we are. We've got some cards on the table, and so let's jump in. I'm going to come down here to Death. And the 10 of Swords, you know, these look like really dramatic cards, and they kind of are. I feel like this is a start point that reflects on where you've been at more to the past. I think it's been a very difficult time for you. I think accumulatively, there has just been one thing after another that has really failed you, let you down. And I think it's more than perhaps just the connection with this other person. I feel like there's been some really challenging things going on in your world. You know, Death is definitely a card of loss and grief. Perhaps you've actually lost somebody near to you or close to you. Perhaps you've gone through a period of losing something. You know, it could be a job or circumstances that have left you feeling empty and, you know, less than comforted. You know, but it's not just about that. I kind of feel that you have ended the connection with this other person. And I feel that a part of what that's been about is that there has been an accumulation of problems with them, and that you have just felt betrayed, let down, that you can't trust this person anymore, and that you've reached the end of the road. And I think you've given a lot to this situation and tried to make it right. And I feel that you have been doing that consistently. And each and every time this person has actually failed to live up either to your expectations or just really to live up to sort of common decency in terms of being honest with you in a way that gives you some hope that this could move in a salvageable direction. And if I come up here to the Emperor and the Queen of Swords, I feel this is a start point to reflect on the other person. I feel like they've agreed very simply to move on with you, that you've ended it. They've said, yeah, okay, moving on. I kind of feel in some ways they've understood why you've come to that particular point and why you felt that you needed to move on. But at the same time, I don't get them sort of, you know, really empathizing at a heartfelt level. So there is some recognition, but not in a way that gives you any feeling or comfort. You know, it's kind of like cold comfort, if I can describe it in that way. I mean, this is a very controlling individual, a very, I think this is somebody who really keeps to themselves. They don't give a lot away. You know, they have a lot of strength. They're very intelligent. And, you know, I think that they can strategize their way through life in a way that really is very quick. It's very ahead of the game. They're very street smart, very savvy. But they're deeply insecure, and they're very protective of that. You know, they don't let you in at a deep level. I kind of feel that there is a real lack of emotional intelligence here, and a lack of emotional capacity. I think they certainly feel, you know, for people, but they just can't share the way that they feel. I sense that this is somebody who really looks out for themselves. Yeah, very, can be very cold, can be very hard, and also very cut off. And my feeling is that they just look out for themselves. You know, they're really quite focused on their own objectives. That it comes across very selfish to me, to be honest with you. But a very driven person, very ambitious by nature. I would have said they're very ambitious in the work that they do. They're really looking to get ahead of the game in terms of what they're doing with those ambitions. And maybe they come at a cost. You know, maybe because they put themselves first in what they aspire to be, relationships kind of come second. But either way, I think where this reading actually gets quite difficult, coming up here to the Star and King of Wands, I feel this person has moved on. It's like you know, they've just refocused and pointed themselves in a very new direction, and they've gone on to greener pastures. There's been no reflective process. I don't feel that they've tried to resolve any of the bad feeling that has actually kind of gone before them with you in a way that leaves you to kind of feel comforted. And I feel also perhaps they've actually moved on to a new relationship. You know, the King of Wands is very, very much about work. I certainly feel that they've focused on their work. The Star is a card of focus. It's about pinning your focus on something to achieve it. But I get a sense that this is all about greener pastures. It's about moving on to new challenges. And I sense that there could be a new relationship here as well, that they've refocused on work, refocused on a new relationship, and, you know, they're feeling really quite sort of positive about where it is that they're going in a way. So it's kind of like they packed up, moved on, moved out. And, you know, what I find very difficult about that is it's just in contrast with what's happening and how is it you've been feeling. It just kind of like it's kind of going from A to B without any kind of transition in terms of process. And that's kind of tricky, because it's left you to feel very out of your depth in terms of trying to resolve within yourself how it is that you feel about what it is that happened. If I come down here to the Lovers and the Nine of Swords, I feel like for you, you know, you still feel very close to this person. You know, the Lovers is a card of, you know, the relationship and the intimacy and love that you felt for this person, the connection that you had that was very much about the both of you becoming close and sharing a lot together. And, you know, the Nine of Swords it's a card that haunts us. You know, it's reflecting on the past, and coupled with the Lovers, it's really about reflecting on everything that you had and the fact that you had good times, that there was a connection there. You know, you're kind of going through a process of validating what it is that you had, but at the same time, you're trying to contrast how it is that it all went so crap. You know, this person has basically just been very cold and acted in a way that's completely selfish and self-centered, and they've shown absolutely no love or caring capacity. There's no sympathy, there's no empathy there, and you're just kind of like, you know, caught between that in a way where it's like, how the heck how am I supposed to kind of move on from this? You know, like what's happened to me? You know, it feels very unfair, because you're also looking back at what it is that's happened and the accumulation of problems that have led to a really difficult transition for you personally. And, Yeah, so sleepless nights, and I think it's just the inability to be able to move on from this situation. You know, caught up in the past, caught up in the present, and feeling how it is that you feel, and the fact that this person has just moved on so blatantly without any regard or. You know, and to also to be in a new relation, you know, potentially in a new relationship. And if they're not in a new relationship, I felt that they were certainly putting themselves out there looking for one. It's sort of like, yeah, you know, like I've just stepped on up. And it feels like they've stepped up on up over you in a way. And I think that's how you feel. Very, very difficult to come to terms with. The question is though, are they going to reach out? Well, I have a no to that answer. And I feel that this person has moved on very selfishly, and that they have an inability to be able to really look deep within themselves at an emotional level to understand how it is that you feel, but also how it is that they feel, and to recognize the connection that you both had. You know, the High Priestess is a card of the future. It's about the veiled future, the uncertainty about what that actually presents in the future. You know, like it's a very kind of mysterious card in that it's a little bit murky. The Knight of Swords is certainly a card that reflects on the past, so they're definitely thinking about what it is that has happened with you. I think that it will get the better of them. You know, they'll feel very unsettled about what it is that they've left behind, but they won't be able to go back to you or back to the past in a way where they can actually resolve those issues. I really feel that this person is unable to address their own lack of emotional capacity, and that lack of emotional intelligence is really going to catch up on them in a way where I feel also that they're going to do the same thing in the next relationship that they have. You know, the High Priestess is looking into the future, and the Knight of Swords are issues of the past, and, you know, they're coming back into the future with them, you know, and it will cause more problems for this person because they simply won't be able to carve out a future that is clear and concise and fulfilled. They're going to be very agitated and angry and upset at a deep level. They'll be rattling around in their head about the experiences that they've had with you, but also with other people, and this will affect future relationships. So in some ways, you know, this is all going to catch up with them, and it's going to catch up with them in a way where it's going to cause baggage for them. It'll weigh them down, and it'll cause, you know, some deep-seated issues in terms of them just been unable to be happy. If I come down here to the Moon and the Two of Chalices, I feel that there's a really strong connection here for you still. You know, that this is in the future, you know, moving on and the outcomes for you. I kind of feel that you're still really holding on for this person. And at the same time, I kind of feel like your instincts are very sharp, and, you know, your process has consolidated you to a point where you feel very clear that there's something that's just not being right about the connection with this person. And when you reflect back, it seems much more clear. And so I kind of feel that just with some time that you'll actually get to a point where it's like, you're going to figure out that this just wasn't worth it, that it is very unsettling to be with a person like that. But what's really positive here is that I feel that there is a connection with a new person in the future. And I think that will steer you in a very new direction in terms of moving on from this particular character. But I definitely get a no to this person reaching out. I don't feel that they will. And I feel that it's really, you know, for me, if I was to take a snapshot of what this meant and to run with it in a way where I could actually hold it close to my heart, it would be saying, look after yourself, trust your instincts. And everything happens for a reason. This has been a consistent accumulation of negative experiences with this person. This is somebody who has sabotaged themselves, but also sabotaged the relationship or the potential of the relationship. And when you feel as bad as this, you know, if somebody really loves you, or, you know, if there's the potential for somebody to really love you, they wouldn't do this to you. Take care. I hope this has made some sense. And if it has, please feel free to leave some feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you are interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. Plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care.